Tuesday, January 11th, 111. Hope you guys were able to watch the video from yesterday. In that, we talked about imprints and mental mapping. I think it's a very crucial concept to understand as we move forward for you guys to really make the most of the exercises that we're going to be doing together. So, the exercise for today, we're going to be covering the concept of resistance and parts integration. What do I mean by that? We all encounter resistance in many parts of our day. And in fact, we use phrases like, back to the grind, or like, I need to work on myself. And it just feels like you're creating resistance with yourself. Yeah. There is no flow, or there isn't as much flow as there can be. So the point of this exercise is to find out, where are you creating internal resistance to the outcomes that you want in life, and where are you creating resistance in which you are not aligned consciously with the values that really are important for you. So let's go ahead and dive in before I try to explain too much. I think when we do the exercise, you guys will understand what I'm talking about here. So go ahead and get present, get grounded. Let's take 3 deep breaths in and out. Again, with each breath in, taking the positive energy around you. And with each breath out, release any negativity, stress, tension that you may be holding within your body. All right. Let's get it going, baby. So what I was saying is, resistance is usually portrayed as something that you need to overcome, right? There's a presupposition in NLP that says behind every behavior, there is a positive intention. So even the behavior which is creating the resistance within us or bringing up the resistance within us has a positive, higher intention. And our job is to find it, acknowledge it, be friends with it, and integrate with it. Because at the end of the day, when we say we want to be aligned, that means all these parts of ourselves that we have disintegrated over the course of our life with the various experiences and various feelings, whatever, those, if we are able to align and integrate, that's where the magic happens. So let's try it. This exercise, and it's going to sound weird, some of the things that we're going to do today, but try it out. And something that it's had a really cool influence on me, and when I worked with my clients, it's had a really amazing influence on them too. At the very least, it's going to bring to awareness how you are creating resistance on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis that you may not even be aware of. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is bring something that's unconscious and bring that to conscious awareness. And from there, we can fix it or do whatever we want with it. So let's try it. So pick a goal. It could be something small, like something that you want to do today, or something you've thought of in the past that you want to work on, whatever it is, some goal, and see if there's any resistance towards that goal. And ideally pick a goal, obviously, that has some resistance within you. And how do you know that you have resistance? It's you hear mental chatter that says, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Or I don't know if I really want that. Or I don't know if I really deserve that. So that's mental chatter. Another way that you can feel resistance is in your body. Like, oh, man, I feel tightness in my shoulders, or like I feel tightness in my chest, or like, I just doesn't feel right in my stomach or in my gut, something like that. You'll know, because when you are in flow, and I hope everyone has had an experience, at least one experience in their life where they were in flow, whether you're performing as an artist or an athlete, or when maybe you're like working or you're like giving a presentation and you're just like, I don't even know what I said like 5 minutes ago, but I was just in the flow and everyone loved it. Something like that. Yeah. When you're in the flow, and you also can compare that to when you might be creating internal resistance. So if you have trouble with this, let me know. But you'll be able to know from within in your body or with mental chatter that you might have. And the first thing to do, again, we're not going to try to overcome it. Yeah. The phrase that comes to mind is, what you resist persists. So you do not want to go down that route. So we want to acknowledge this resistance and say, hey, thank you for showing up, and start to create a dialogue with it. And let it know that it is a valid part of you. Let it know that it is a valid part of you. And ask it, what is the positive higher intention that you have for me? What is a positive higher intention you have for me? And see what it says. And I say it. This is a part of you. You're almost like just talking to yourself. It's going to feel weird at first, but at the same time, it is a part of you that is creating this resistance. And so it is not really aligned with you right now in this moment. So your goal is to align it with yourself. Yeah. So ask it what it could be. Many times the part will say, oh, I don't want this. I don't want to feel stressed. Or for trading, let's say, I don't know if we should take this trade. Or I don't know if I want this. Whatever that is, like it's a negative, yeah? Like, I don't want this, or I don't feel good about this. So then you follow up and say, if you don't want this, what do you want instead? What do you want instead? And see what it comes up with. And then what you're going to do once you have a positive intention, then you're going to chunk that up until you come up, or until it replies with something that really resonates with you. So for example, I'm going to do this real quick for myself. So there's examples where I'm about to enter a trade and I feel resistance. It's like, oh shit. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to enter this trade. Like, there's some fear that I feel. There's some resistance. Fear is resistance. Yeah. So I ask that part, hey, thanks for showing up. Well, first I acknowledge it and say, thanks for showing yourself. Hey, fear, thanks for showing up. And start to create a dialogue with it and say, hey, what's the positive intention that you have for me that you're showing me right now as fear? And it'll say, I don't want you to lose money. Cool. So if you don't want to lose money, what do you want instead? I mean, you could say something like, oh, I want to make money. Okay, what's important to you about making money? Well, I want to feel confident. I want to know that I'm making progress. Okay, so you want to know that you're making progress. What's important to you about that? Well, so that I know that I'm growing, so that I know that I am prepared for something, that I'm prepared for any situation. Okay, so growth, that resonated with me. I want to be someone who's growing all the time. Preparedness, I want to be someone who's prepared. Awesome. So chunk it up until there's something that resonates with you. And the way you chunk that up, by the way, is you ask, so what's important to you about that? And then what you do then is you say, thank you, part, for helping me, right? Helping me fulfill that value of growth and preparedness. Thank you. And then let it know that what you want, that growth and preparedness are also important to you, is what it wants, that it's congruent. And ask that part to play a role. This is key. This is important, because you don't want to let that part, again, this sounds so weird. The first time you might be hearing this is like, just like talking to myself here. Yes, but it's a part that is not aligned with you, right? So talk to that part and let it know, hey, can you play a role in helping me achieve this shared goal that I have? Can you play a role in helping me with this shared goal that I have with you, which is I want to be prepared and I want to be a growing person. And the reason you're showing me this resistance as fear is because you want me to be aligned with that. And you don't feel that I am fully aligned with growth and with being prepared. And if you're able to do that, would that work? Would we be able to integrate? And many times, hopefully, if you're able to negotiate with this part, well, we also call this exercise parts negotiation, because you're negotiating with this part until you come up with some kind of compromise or some kind of alignment in what it wants and what you want, and you're both playing a crucial role in helping you. Again, like I said, this is going to be pretty weird the first time you've heard, if you're hearing this for the first time. But the idea is that, again, we disintegrate over time all these different parts of ourselves. The idea is, how do we get more aligned? How do we get more into integrity into what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're thinking? And by just creating a conversation with a part that we have not acknowledged in the past, that we've tried to resist or we've tried to overcome, that part is going to grow louder and louder and tries to show you in such a way in which you'll finally understand, okay, hey, like there's something that it wants for you. There's something that the subconscious really wants for you that is trying to show you that would be useful for you to understand and hear. So that is the whole point of this. And I'm not saying this is going to cure everything, but it is something to, again, bring from unconscious awareness to conscious awareness what might be useful for us on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. So try it out. The exercise for today is to see where we're unconsciously creating resistance in our conversations with ourselves. Unconsciously creating resistance. And again, we're bringing that to conscious awareness, yeah? So it could be a dialogue you're creating, like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, and it could be, again, a feeling that rises up, and you can put words to that feeling too, to make it like a dialogue. And once you have that dialogue with this resistance, acknowledge it, don't overcome it, don't try to like press it down, whatever, and then see if you can understand what its positive higher intention is. Again, the NLP presupposition that we work with clients is behind every behavior is a positive intention. And so, hey, this fear, this guilt, this shame, this judgment, whatever it is, there's a positive intention behind that. And once you get to that which really resonates with you, then you say, hey, I want that too. I want that too. Can we work together on that? Like, actually work together, not like me trying to like do everything, but you're powerful. You've like brought up this resistance in such a way where now I can see it. So there's some power behind what you are doing. So let's integrate. Imagine how powerful we can be when we're aligned and together. Very out there concept that you're talking to yourself, but try it out. And this actually is a very good example of how NLP works, in that, you know, when we're dealing with an issue, sometimes people say, just, you know, go retreat, you know, go do some meditation, or, you know, do some breathing or whatever, and just, you know, find your way again. This is a very tactical approach. This is a step-by-step approach for you to overcome certain things. You know, you have resistance. Cool. This is what you do. You have, you're not clear about what your goals are. Okay, this is what you do. You're not feeling fulfilled in what you're doing. Okay, this is what you do, right? Instead of like, just like, okay, let me just meditate and like try to feel good and try to figure out what I want to do next. Like, this is a very tactical approach to help you get to what you want and help you feel fulfilled and aligned. So I have explained this ad nauseum. Next, we're going to jump into, as I talked about yesterday, we're going to jump into my pre-cap, my market pre-cap, even though market just opened for the ES futures. So let's jump into that. And this is the daily chart, if you guys can see, going back to late September. And obviously, as you can see here, we've been on an uptrend still, even though the last week has been, as many people would say, a bloodbath, especially in other markets like the crypto markets. But again, we were really only a few days away from all-time highs for the S&P. So what I'm looking at here, and the way that I trade is with Fibonacci charts, a Fibonacci analysis. So one thing that happened is that we had a Fibonacci retracement to the 38.2% level at the beginning of December, and we tried to extend to the 127% level, and we could not reach that. And then from here, we retraced. And so if I'm starting my 0% level here, extension to this 100% level, again, we retraced now to the 23.6% level. And there is a potential that we are going to set all-time highs at 48.80-ish. But since we did not hit this previous 127% level, I am not strong on that. I am not feeling that as much. So I would be, as many people probably in the markets, I would be downward biased. I would be looking to enter more shorts than longs unless there is something that I really like. So this is on the daily chart again. Let's move to the, I use the volume chart, just over 10,000 or close to 11,000 contracts per each candle. And the reason I do this is because I eliminate false positives, I guess. So over the course of the night where there's very low volume, I don't want to have all this, movement where there's not much volume traded. Yeah. So this is a way for me to override that. And then certain days where there's just so much volume, I'm able to see, okay, wow, there's a lot of candles being formed. That's just my preference. So as this is going back to Sunday open, a Sunday afternoon open. And as you guys can see here, yesterday we had a big sell-off from around the 46.75 mark. And in the morning session, we went down about 100 points to 45.75 from the open. But there was strong buying pressure that took us all the way back up to where we were starting off the week. So this could be a good sign. I was able to see there was yesterday. I don't trade on Mondays. I don't enter trades on Mondays. So as you guys can see here, we had, and again, I'm using Fibonacci here. So we had a 0 to 100% level price movement, retracement to the 61.8%, and then exactly to the 127, and you even, in fact, passed the 161% level. So that was a very strong move, but it almost feels like this exhausted the move yesterday. And so what happened? As soon as we opened higher, we've been selling off since yesterday afternoon. So what I would be looking to do here today is to look for short opportunities, and I would be looking for a retracement first before I go short. But the other likelihood that could happen today is that we just trade in this channel. So if I zoom out a little bit more, you guys can see, actually, am I blocking the screen? I'm not sure. But there's a channel here between 46.30 and 46.80. And so we might just trade within that channel the rest of the day, as there might not be price movement just today. I don't think that's going to happen the rest of this week. I think there's enough buyers and sellers out there that we're going to try to find some more compromise in different areas of the market, in different prices. So I'm going to be patient today. The approach that I think of myself as is as a sniper, and very precise entries, get in, get out. And that's it. So that's what I'll be looking for in the ES. And I'm looking at the CL and GC as well. I'll be doing my own analysis on there. If you guys are interested in that, let me know, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts on that. Again, none of this is financial advice, but it is something that I have seen work previously in my own research and the way that I conduct research. So don't take everything that I say with, take everything that I say with a grain of salt. That's what I meant. Anyways, enough talking for me today. Hope you guys have an outstanding day out there. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions or comments on any of what I'm doing, please feel free to let me know. We'll be back tomorrow, baby. Let's do it. Take care, guys. Cheers.